Hey everybody, what is going on? Welcome to the camera adds 10 pounds. I almost messed up my own title. I'm a little nervous. I have a very special guest today. Say hello.
Hi,
What's your name?
my name's Ashton Pittman.
Ashton Pittman. And Ashton Pittman is what would you if someone asked you what you did, what would you say?
um, Gosh, that's a big umbrella. Well, it depends on where I'm at.
Okay. So
So,
if I was walking up to if let's say we were at
in Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I was in Los Angeles, I would say that I work at a fitness center.
Okay.
hmm
And then if you were not in Los Angeles, what would you say?
I work on a watermelon farm.
A watermelon farm. What? Who does that?
Me?
Oh, so you're a watermelon farmer.
Uh huh.
And what else are you? Just what else are you? You're my
Uh,
girlfriend. Oh, snaps. Perks of the job.
I was like, I don't know.
I was trying to lead you into that. This is my girlfriend Ashton Pittman. You guys say hello. I've talked about her on the podcast. She's probably come up in every episode in some form or
Of
another.
course.
So now we're going to bring her here in person. And there's a lot of stories that I hope we can get into today. But one of the main reasons is you come from Oklahoma,
Correct.
which is one of the states in the United States, even though it doesn't seem like it. It's like it's a completely different place from here. Like I grew up here. And so
Obviously.
it's just a big difference in cultures between being here versus there. And so like the concept of just this podcast would probably sound silly to people in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Like the camera adds 10 pounds. They're like, I don't know what that means, but like, what is that? You know what I mean?
I get it.
So I want to do that, but also, you're a former athlete.
I am.
I know you don't really, I feel like you don't talk about it as much.
I don't.
Which is really weird because you had some pretty impressive like accolades in basketball and whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think it's not really part like you have an athlete like persona like personality, but I don't think you consider yourself an athlete anymore. Even though I feel like once you're an athlete, you're always an athlete.
Yeah. What's an athlete personality?
Just like type A, like driven.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like like I said, type. I mean, because I know you, I don't know. You're not. You're like a passive type A. Yeah, like because you can kind of like, you can kind of. I can kind of persuade you to do things sometimes, but it's whatever. It's fine. But like you played basketball.
Yes.
Like you played basketball in high school, played
Mhm.
basketball in college.
Mhm.
You had a couple injuries that kind
Mhm.
of set you off on a detour a little bit and
Mhm.
whatnot. But so what I want to talk about, we'll get into a lot of things. But what was it like playing basketball first of all in Oklahoma?
Um, well, Oklahoma was the only place I ever played basketball
Right,
in high school.
right.
Um, I mean, it was fine. Like, I'm sure it's just like basketball anywhere else.
I don't think it is.
Really?
Yeah, because like especially like here in LA, for example, there's obviously hundreds of schools, probably thousands of schools.
Okay.
And so if you walked into a store and it's a kid, they're not going to know anything other than that's a kid. But like if you play basketball where you're from and you walk into a store, they're like, "Oh, that's Ashton Pittman starting forward, starting forward for the Rush Springs or whatever Washington High School." Like you're a celebrity there because like the whole town congregates around these. It's like Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, I guess.
Like there's football. There's everybody goes to the basketball. It's like it's an event.
Yeah, I guess, Oklahoma being a smaller state and high school sports being like a huge part of small towns. So yeah, it kind of is like famous in a small town atmosphere playing high school sports, especially if you're like from a school that has like a really good tradition.
Uh-huh.
So they may not know who you are, but if you say, "Oh, I play basketball for Washington," they're like, "Oh, Washington."
Yeah.
They know.
It's like a big deal.
Yeah, it is. It's a big deal.
And you
So-
won like a state championship or something in high school, right?
Yeah, so we were always ranked probably in the top 3
Uh-huh.
every year.
In the state.
Yeah, well, in our class. So we do classes.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I feel like every high school does.
yeah. So we were always ranked in the top three. And so my sophomore year, we were state runner up. And then my junior year, so my sophomore year, we
Uh-huh.
were ranked number one, got all the way to the finals and lost.
Oh.
I know, undefeated, lost in the finals.
Oh, you're like the Patriots that one
Yeah,
year.
yeah. And then
Did you cry?
yeah, I cried.
I would have cried
But
too.
that was also, honestly, my sophomore year was my first year ever at state. So my freshman
Okay.
year, I was at Rush Springs, and
Oh,
I
we
decided that I was like, you know what? I want to win a state championship. So I convinced my dad to move us to Washington, which was a huge deal. We can get into that later.
Oh yeah. Wait, host. Okay, so let me get this straight. You went to one high school, Rush Springs,
I had went to Rush Springs for
For
most of my life.
freshman year of high
Freshman
school.
year. It's where my dad graduated, where everybody lived.
Right.
My whole family lives.
And then you decided that you wanted to win a ring,
I
basically.
wanted to go to state. I wanted to know what that felt like.
Okay. So why were you upset when Kevin Durant did the same thing if you did it too?
Because no. I was upset because Kevin Durant's team, the Thunder, they were there. They were good. They
Yeah.
basically made it. Okay, they were there. They had the opportunity to come back the next year and beat the Warriors.
Agreed.
Okay, they didn't suck.
You're right. Oh, so
Okay,
you guys sucked at Rush
So we
Springs.
sucked. We never
Oh,
made
okay.
it that far.
Got it.
Ever. And we didn't suck, but we just could never make it to the state playoffs.
So you were more like, well, no, I want to say,
So that's the difference. Like
Yeah.
the Thunder, they had the team. They could have come back the next year and beat the Golden State Warriors.
Right.
So don't even get me started.
well, he's probably going to leave Golden State after this year. Then you can't be mad at him anymore.
No, I'm done with him. Just take the easy way
so,
out.
so you transferred high schools to
Yeah,
to
I
win a
transferred-
championship.
And it wasn't necessarily to win. I mean, Washington was that town that was always at the top, and so everybody wanted that. Washington had the target on their back. Everybody wanted to beat Washington.
Right.
And I had kind of gotten like an in. I became really good friends with a kid there at Washington whose dad was the high school girls basketball coach.
Okay.
And so we became really good friends. And I was like, I want to go play at Washington. I finally convinced my dad, and he finally moved us to Washington, and it was
Who's us?
my sister and I.
So he had it like you guys moved.
Yeah, so my dad has like a ranch and a homestead in Rush Springs. So in order for us to be eligible to play sports in the city limits
Right.
of Washington, we actually had to have
You're like a resident.
a
there.
resident there. So my dad had to rent out property. We
Wow.
moved in like a trailer house, and my dad would drive. And it wasn't close to my town where I was from. It
Right.
was a good hour and 15-minute
Everything's
drive.
far in those parts.
Yeah, so my dad moved us there, and then every day he would make that round trip drive back and forth to go home and Rush Springs on the ranch and
Wow.
work, and then he would come back to Washington and be there to spend the night with us. And
Wow.
yeah,
That's dedication.
it was
He
like,
saw the potential.
yeah, and I mean it ended up being a good move because, like I said, my sophomore year was my first year there. I came in as a sophomore, new to the school, started on the high school basketball team
Varsity.
at Washington varsity.
Yeah.
We went undefeated until the state finals. We got beat. My junior
Who'd
year,
you lose to?
Preston.
Oh man,
You
those
don't know.
damn Prestons. Why are you laughing?
Anyways, my junior year, we came back. We were not undefeated. We had gotten beat so many times.
Probably because of that. You had that championship hangover. Like you had gotten there, so
No, we had lost my sophomore year. We had a really good senior on the team. I mean, phenomenal athlete, like the best athlete I've probably ever seen come through Washington. Like all the Division I coaches were at our basketball practices. Like everybody wanted
was
her.
Pat Summit there?
Pat Summit was there.
wow. That's
Sherry
only-
Cole.
I don't know who the rest of them are.
Yeah,
I
so
only
yeah.
know Pat Summit
Um,
for girls
rest in
anyway.
peace. Yeah, so she was like, I mean, she like carried the team like all 4 years of her high school career. So
Right.
we had lost her, so we were trying to find like who our scorer was and who, because she was the main scorer. So my junior year, it was myself and
Oh, yourself.
yeah.
Were you like the point guard?
I wasn't really the point guard. No, I was more like a shooting guard.
Okay.
So it was myself, and then obviously I don't know if I need to get into all the other
Yeah,
names,
that's
but
fine.
so I mean, and I wasn't the main scorer. Like I was, we all very contributed, but it was hard trying to gel with all of us. So my junior year, We lost a couple, several, not just a couple. We lost a lot of games. We came into state like ranked like 6 or something like that.
Uh-huh.
So nobody had us picked to win. So we beat. We won our quarterfinal game. We won our semifinal game, and then in the championship, we played Preston again. And Preston
Oh.
was ranked number 1, and they were undefeated.
Oh, here we go.
So it was kind of like it was really surreal for all of us.
This is like a
because-
movie.
Yeah, it was like a revenge title win. Like they
Yeah.
took it from us the year before, came back, same situation. They're undefeated, ranked number 1, and we take it from them. So it was like
So you guys won the championship.
we won the championship.
And did you cry again?
Oh my gosh, we cried. There's like this awesome picture of my
So you
sister
cried
and
when
I.
you cried when you lost, and then you cried when you won.
Yeah.
That's a lot of crying.
I know. And my grandma's all like, I don't like. There's a picture of my sister and I in the gold ball, and we're just like both crying.
Well, your sister was on the team too,
Yeah, my sister.
So she's a freshman?
She was a freshman.
and you
then.
were a junior, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we both played together
That's cute.
in that finals game, and I was named MVP.
What?
So Blake Griffin and I, probably a lot of people know Blake Griffin. He was
Blake Griffin. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, so he was.
He's
him
from
and I
Oklahoma.
were both the MVPs of our class that year. He was a
In
senior,
the
and I
state
was
of
a junior.
Oklahoma. So you got your name in the thing with Blake Griffin,
Yeah,
and now you're here doing a podcast with me.
Peter Sears.
I mean, that's a pretty good consolation prize,
Yeah.
if you ask me.
So yeah, it's pretty good. So
Okay.
that happened my junior year, and then my senior year, we were really picked. We had moved up a class,
Right.
and we were like ranked number 2, and so we were picked to to battle for the state championship. But a week before the playoffs began, I blew out my knee.
On purpose?
No,
Oh.
not on purpose. In a makeup game that I wanted to make up.
Stupid.
I know.
Why? You want to pad your stats?
No, it was against this team that we had never beat,
Uh-huh.
and
And you were a senior, so you're like, I got to beat these
I
guys.
wanted to beat them.
I get it.
There was just this rivalry against
Of
us,
course.
and
What
I
was the name of
wanted
this school?
Dale.
Oh, Dale. I hate those damn Dalers. What's their mascot? Do you remember it?
Pirates.
Dale Pirates?
Uh-huh.
I just want to beat them already.
No. So yeah, so it was a makeup game. Their game ended up being made up because the original game, it was raining and the gym like had a hole in it, so like
It's Oklahoma,
was
of course.
there was like
It's always raining.
water on the court, so they had to like cancel the game,
Uh-huh.
and then they weren't in our conference, so we didn't have to make it up.
Right. It was a meaningless game.
But I was like, let's make it up.
Yeah.
We're gonna beat them this time. And lo and behold, like I
Blew out
don't
your
know,
knee.
first quarter, I blew out my knee. We lost the game.
Did you cry this time?
Oh, I screamed.
You cry a lot. I've decided.
I just screamed. I just knew something was wrong, and
Yeah.
everybody kept like they came on the floor and they're like, "Can you feel this? Can you feel this?" I'm like, "No, no." They're like, "Oh, that's a good sign." I'm like, "Okay, good." And then we went to the
ER,
emergency somewhere, and they told me they're like, "Yeah, you're done." I
Yeah.
was like, "Okay." And I mean, our team made it to state, but they didn't get past. I think they lost in the quarterfinals. So
I'm sorry.
yeah.
But then you went and played in college, right?
I did.
in Oklahoma.
Not my freshman year. I was still.
Recovering.
I had a lot of issues after my first initial surgery, so I did 13 months of rehab
Uh-huh.
with more than one surgery involved in that
Yeah.
13 months. So yeah, and then I went and played college ball. Like I had lost all my scholarships
Yeah.
because I had never committed to anybody my senior year, and when I blew out my knee, everybody pulled out.
Of course. I
Yeah.
pull out all the time. Of like contracts and stuff. Go ahead.
Anyways,
Uh-huh.
so I took it upon myself and went and tried out for a bunch of junior colleges and ended up getting signed to a junior college, played 2 years at junior college.
But junior college is like a big deal in Oklahoma. Like they treat it. It's not like here in
I don't
like
know.
California. Like if you go to junior college in California, it's kind of like I didn't have good grades or.
Oh, that's still like
I'm a-
that's still Oklahoma.
But like it's also like you can live on campus at a junior college. Like there's
Yeah.
dorms and
Oh,
see
yeah.
they don't have that here. You don't live
Oh,
on.
really?
No, not anywhere. You go to a junior college because, like I said, you got bad grades or whatever.
Yeah, in Oklahoma, you go
Or
to
'cause you
junior
can't afford
college
school,
because
maybe.
you don't have good grades.
Yeah.
Is I would say a lot of the athletes don't
Yeah.
have good grades, or they want to go to Division 1 and they did not get that offer out
Right.
of high school. For like I would say for more of like the football players.
Yeah, I mean people do that here
They
too.
would.
But I just feel like it's like you can get scholarships to junior colleges in like Oklahoma, right?
yeah,
Yeah, you don't get scholarships at junior colleges here.
Really?
No, But there's
Oh.
so many.
I
It's just
think
different.
in all the Midwest, or not maybe not all, but
Yeah,
I
there's a
know
lot.
like
It's
Oklahoma,
yeah,
Kansas,
in like Nevada,
Texas.
there's like a really good like where Bryce Harper, who's this really famous
Hmm.
baseball player, where he went to college. It's like we would do these tournaments there, and they have like their junior college field and facilities are like minor league level. Like they all have computers in the locker room and like they have batting kit. Like it's crazy, but like because it's an actual, it's like they treat it like a 4 year there because he went there so that he could get drafted.
Hmm.
He dropped out of high school, got his GED like his sophomore year, I think. Went to junior college for like a year, maybe two, and then got drafted when he was like 17 or something. Anyway, so played college basketball,
Yep. Hmm.
MVP, Blake Griffin, all that stuff.
Hmm.
At what point? Because I've been to Oklahoma a bunch of times. I've been to other places around the country where, let's just say that health and fitness isn't as big of a deal as it is like in somewhere in LA, for example, where we
Hmm.
live. So at what point in your life did you recognize that you were not going to kind of be like the rest of the people where you come from as far as like not putting it as a priority?
Well,
Like you were an
when I
athlete,
was
obviously.
young, yeah, when I was younger, like I would just eat whatever. I didn't have that sense of like
Yeah, of
eat
course.
healthy stuff and all that.
Me
But I
too.
would remember at um, like family functions and family get-togethers or reunions and stuff, and some of my older family members would be like, you can eat that now or enjoy your size while you're this small because one day you're not gonna be that size anymore.
Oh hell no.
And I was like, no. And in my mind, I never said it out loud, but in my mind, I'm like, no, no, I'm not. And so that in my mind, that was the first thing. It's like
How old are you? Would you say?
maybe 12,
Okay,
13, 14, 15, somewhere around there.
so
I
you're
was still
like,
in high school or, junior high, but it was like almost every like family function. Like I would go get dessert or something and they'll be like, oh, enjoy that while you can. Or when I was going off to college, they'll be like, watch out for that freshman 15. And I'm like, mm,
did you gain a freshman 15?
I don't.
Because you were
Honestly,
rehabbing, so you
I
could have been.
don't. I don't remember, but I can tell you that I always still fit into the clothes I wore in junior high and high school.
Oh wow. Okay.
And my grandpa would always say, like, he'd always be like, "Oh, when my britches pants," he's like, "When my pants get to."
Can you do me a favor? So, her grandfather is like has a really thick Oklahoma accent. So, can you reenact this with your grandfather's accent?
um, he would say to us at the dinner table or something. He would be like, "Well, when my britches start fitting a little tight, I gotta back off of what I'm eating."
Britches.
And when he said that, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, it makes sense.
I'm gonna do that too.
Uh huh.
So and then that's like so like at a very young age, I was always like, I don't want that to, I don't want to get bigger. And then I would always hear the adults talking about the diets they were on and how hard it was to lose like 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds, however much it was. And then in my mind, then it's like, don't ever get to that point.
Right.
Don't wait till you're 30, 40, 50 pounds overweight to start losing weight.
Agreed.
You know, start making changes when you get overweight like a few pounds and then you're not having to like climb an uphill battle for,
Right.
forever. So,
I feel like too, like especially like in a place like Oklahoma. I mean,
mhm.
lots of the South. Um, there's not as many healthy food options as there is, so
Oh no.
it's
No, there's
almost
not.
easier to have an unhealthy lifestyle because it's like, I mean, just in your town, there's like what, three places to eat
Hmm.
because you're
Well, now there is. Growing up, there was only one.
even worse, right? And then
Yeah.
if you want the closest like fast foods, probably like what, McDonald's or something that's like
30,
15, 20
30
minutes
minutes
away,
away.
and then you have like
Well, it's
A&W and
like we honestly where I'm from, it was a lot of cooking. Like my
yeah,
grandma cooks.
and they don't necessarily cook healthy either.
No,
Yeah,
it's lots of salt, lots of sugar, lots of
fat.
fat.
Yeah.
Um,
So how did that affect you as, someone when recognizing like, okay, I don't want to end up like this, but I also can't tell my grandma like, hey, I'm not going to eat your, because that's kind of insulting in parts like that.
mhm.
you don't want to hurt their feelings by not eating what they're making.
No,
Or
while I was playing basketball, it never really,
right.
it wasn't like a thing, like it was like whatever. But as I started getting into like my last few years of college, it's like I started getting more into like health, like
Uh-huh.
eating, like I decided to take like, or in nutrition, I decided to take as an elective to take like a health class.
Uh-huh.
And I learned a lot in the health class. And that kind of is what really kind of like got me, like set me.
Did you learn that butter wasn't one of the basic food groups?
Anyways. I did learn that every 10 years your metabolism slows down.
Yeah,
You know,
kind of. I
generally
mean,
speaking.
I think it slows down more than that, but it just
Yeah.
at certain
So,
ages you really
yeah.
start to see the
So
difference.
what I started doing, it was like, you know what, I need to start like, you know, this was when I was not actually my last year of college when I wasn't playing ball anymore, and I was like, okay, I need to start making changes. So that's when I started cutting out dairy.
Uh-huh.
So that was one thing that I started doing. I started cutting out dairy. Now, however, not for any like, not because I'm allergic to it or anything. So when I would eat my grandma's food, like obviously she cooks with dairy. Like
Yeah.
I would eat it, but what I started doing was I wouldn't eat dessert. And like they have like dessert
Of
like
course.
almost once a day with one of the meals or maybe twice a day. So I just like kind of like stopped eating dessert.
Okay.
And I kind of like just would kick a few food groups that like I didn't really like mac and cheese. I stopped eating mac and cheese. I'm not a big potato fan really, so I didn't eat like mashed potatoes.
Mashed for
But
what?
mashed potatoes.
Potatoes?
Potatoes.
Does that have an A at the end or an O at the end?
Both.
So Ashton has a southern accent, and you guys can tell, I'm sure, but she doesn't think she has one. Can you hear it, Paul? Yeah, he can hear it too.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's actually, it gets worse when you go home and come back, or like if you've been home for a while, and you start to really kind of. But when you're here long, you haven't been home for a while now, or I mean, I guess you went home for like a second, but okay. So we'll kind of go back and forth here. You decided to move to LA
Yes. So when I graduated
when you were done with
college.
school, right? And that obviously a big culture shock.
Oh my
from-
gosh, I had never been to California, Los Angeles, never been out here until the day I moved out here
Wow.
in the moving truck.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That takes some guts.
it does.
That's scary.
I just didn't want Oklahoma to be everything I'd ever known. And I knew if I didn't leave when I graduated college that I never would.
Yeah.
And, you know, because you can always, I knew that I could always go home.
Right.
Always go home.
Always.
But once you, like, get settled into a place, which probably what I would have done being in Oklahoma, it would have been hard to get
Like
out.
Sweet Home Alabama with Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah, and just in my heart, it felt like the right thing to do. And
Uh-huh.
I don't regret it at all.
I mean, look who you met.
Mer.
Like that's like the gift that keeps on giving, dude. You nailed this California dude within like a month or so of being here. I mean, that pays dividends nonstop. But what I want to get into is like I know that, you know, like when I met you, like I mean, we hit it off, whatever. We just got along really well. You're very easy to get along with. But I remember, like, because I knew you from the gym, that you would do like these workouts that I could tell were like physical therapy workouts.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like,
love those workouts.
and I was like, "What are you doing, dude? Like, you're just like doing sissy." What did
I
tell-
love
I said
it.
you were doing like sissy exercises or something.
Yeah, with the bands.
And I was like, "You're not gonna like. I don't know what you're trying to do, but like,
It
you're
was
not
all I really knew how
Right.
to do.
right." And that's because you had been, you know, with your knee and stuff. You had been
Yeah.
going to physical therapy for a while at that point. And I just thought it was weird because I knew you had played basketball, and I was like, I feel like she should be doing.
Yeah, but when we hated doing weights and when I was in high school and college because we
Right.
thought it would make you bulky.
Right.
But we never like all of our weights that we did do were already like set up for us and whatnot, and we
Right.
always cheated. We always because we were like, no, we don't want to do this.
Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't really know what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I was just sticking to what was comfortable for me.
Which is what a lot of people do. They you know, they put themselves in their comfort zone, and that's all. They stay there, and then they wonder why they don't. And that's not just for working out, though. I talk about this all the time, but it's not just for working out. It's career. It's for family choices. Like, you know, once we get comfortable, a lot of times people just like to sit in that comfort zone instead of, continuing to push the button. But like in fitness, it's like if you want to change your body, you have to get outside that comfort zone. So I was, luckily enough, we kind of like would kind of work out together when we started dating and stuff. But what I wanted to talk about was like when we met, like, like we got along really well, but like you were just not in as good of shape when we met as you are now.
No, and I thought I was.
You thought you were because you were coming from Oklahoma, where
Yeah.
like I mean, let's be honest, like when we go there, there's more. I mean, LA has a lot of people, so there's a lot of out of shape people in LA.
Yeah, there's a lot of out of shape people everywhere.
Exactly. But when you come here, you notice that people are probably, as a whole, maybe smaller than people in Oklahoma, or like
Yeah, especially in the area where I'm living.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's everybody like in the entertainment industry and the arts and
right. So
and there's so much more access to
totally,
fitness and
yeah. There's a
gyms
studio
and
everywhere. There's all kinds of
healthy
stuff,
food, all kinds of food.
and the weather's better.
Gluten-free, vegan, like
Yeah.
mhm.
Like when you go somewhere, like you expect them to have healthy things here.
Mhm. Oh yeah,
Whereas,
for
like,
sure.
remember when I went to that little, what's it, Melon Heavers, and I tried to order a salad. And we ordered it. So, okay, so there's like you said, there's 3 restaurants in the town that you come from, which is also the town you come from is like a population of 1,200.
1,500.
No, I think it's
I
1,200.
think it's 1,500.
We should Google it. But anyway, there's 3 restaurants in this little town, and we went to one of them, and I'm trying to be healthy because obviously I'm healthy, and I order a salad. But like I had been there before, so I knew the small. Like I was hungrier. I had been working on the farm with you guys all day.
Yeah,
So
you were starving.
I was starving. Yeah. And I'm like, give me the large salad instead. And I'm telling you guys, if you can't see this, they brought me a salad that had to be the bowl had to be like 18 inches big. There's a picture if you go down my Instagram like a couple of years, and it's just like stacked full of lettuce. And I'm like,
romaine
yeah,
lettuce.
I know romaine lettuce, which it also bothered me because it's like here, we have. I don't like kale, but like there's kale, there's mezclun, there's spinach, there's all these different types of greens, and if you order salad in Oklahoma, dude, it's probably just romaine. Yeah,
romaine.
and that's gross. I mean, it's not gross, but it's just like.
I like it.
it's fine,
I grew
yeah.
up eating.
But like
eating it.
here, we're spoiled because we have access to so many different types of greens. But I just remember that the salad was so big, and I was like, oh my god. But my point was like, when you came here, you recognized, okay, I'm not in as good a shape as I thought, right? But like, I mean, you were great. I was attracted to you.
Yeah, I honestly didn't realize it though.
Yeah.
I think it was maybe like a year later that I looked back.
Yeah, we see pictures and
I
we're like,
seen
oh
a
wow.
picture and I was like, I looked like that when I moved here.
Yeah. Like
And-
remember you. So we didn't know each other, but then we kind of talked about it. Like you went on a hike when you first got here.
Yeah.
Like, did you do Runyon or did you do somewhere else?
No, it was Tree People in the valley.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the Tree People, which is one of like, it's a nice little hike. It's not really a hike. It's just like you just walking through the mountains. It's kind of in the valley. Wasn't
Yeah.
it off Coldwater?
Yeah, so you can access it off of Coldwater and
Or you could access it off of Laurel coming from the other
Laurel.
side.
Yeah.
It's just a nice outdoor stroll through the mountains. It's pretty, the Tree People part of it. They have like a lot of
Yeah.
they have like a little arboretum. It's very nice. We'd like to go in there.
Mm-hmm.
But you posted something about like, oh yeah, I just went on a hike. It was really tough.
Really tough.
And it's not tough at all. Like it's not
My
tough
mom
at all.
and I were dying.
Yeah, but it's not tough. I mean, can we agree now that we've done it a million
yeah,
times?
it's fine.
It's just, but at that point, it was tough for you.
It's funny because I think that I weigh the exact same, close to it now that I did then.
Yeah.
It's just I was soft.
It's distributed better. Yeah, you
I
have more
was
muscle now.
soft.
You're leaner now.
Mhm.
Same. I mean, same with me. I tell people that all the time. Like
Toned.
I weigh the same as I did in high school,
Mhm.
which was God. I graduated from high school 22 years ago. That's crazy. But like the way it's distributed, like I have more muscle now and
Mhm.
less fat and whatever. So yeah. So would you say that what are the factors that kind of contributed to you kind of you weren't unhealthy but becoming more healthy now that you lived in LA?
What are the factors?
Yeah, like what are the contributing factors?
Well, I liked how I felt once I started like working out.
Uh-huh.
And then I had watched like, and I had watched a documentary back in college.
Uh-huh.
And oh, I can't even remember what it was called.
Super Size Me?
No. It was about
Finding Neverland?
No.
Leaving Neverland?
no.
Okay.
But it was about like how people take pills for stuff,
Oh,
and it was like everything that you take in pill form can be found naturally through like fruits and veggies
right.
and eating and stuff like that. And so I started reading like a couple books just about like food and how it like helps your body and what certain foods do for your body. So I just tried to just be more healthy,
Uh-huh.
work out more, eat better.
Because when I met you, you used to drink Starbucks like almost every
Oh my
day,
gosh, yes.
and we
I
were
drank,
kind of
that was like a novelty in Oklahoma. Like if you
right.
had Starbucks, like you went and got Starbucks, like
Well, because you probably had to drive like a half hour to
yeah,
get it. It's not like on
an
every corner.
hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, an hour to get
Uh-huh.
Starbucks. Yeah, so I was obsessed with Starbucks. And when I met you and I started working out more, and it was like, I could kind of see like I needed to like cut things,
Because
like
you didn't just have like a black coffee. You were having like
yeah,
something
and
with
I had a coffee machine that I was never using.
Keurig.
Well, I never used the Keurig or the regular coffee machine that I
Uh-huh.
had. And so I was like, you know what? Let me just cut Starbucks. And I just quit like cold turkey.
But what was
And
it about this? You recognized that it was a lot of calories, or just a lot of empty
yeah,
calories.
I think you told me that.
I
And
did.
I was like, oh. And it didn't do anything for it. It didn't like fill you up or
No,
anything.
it's
It was like
sugar.
sugar.
It's just ice cream, basically.
Yeah.
Ice cream and coffee.
Yeah.
It tastes good though.
So I didn't. And then it's just like, I started to feel like, I want to be like more connected to my roots back home. So I started just making straight black coffee.
I can't do that still.
And then I felt, it makes me feel like I don't know, like
Because
a,
coffee's a staple there. Like your dad wakes up every morning and has his
yeah,
coffee.
black.
That's gross. You
And
drink black coffee? Yeah,
and
it's
I'm
gross.
like,
I can't. I still can't.
I just feel like I accomplished something.
Yeah. But you did. You cut a lot of calories just by making that
Yeah.
choice. And that meant easily 300 calories every day,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah.
That's being nice because most of the Starbucks
Yeah, I
drinks are
think
like
I had that.
400,
I think I
500.
got that My Fitness Pal or the thing
Oh
where
yeah,
you
yeah.
can put
Of
your
course.
food in.
Yeah, it's great.
I can't hardly keep up with that, but I think I did that, and that's when I started realizing like all the calories and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh geez, like
Uh-huh.
a long time ago. But yeah, I don't have any desire to get Starbucks ever.
Good.
And then like when I started drinking black coffee, I actually went to Starbucks and got their black coffee
It's
once,
gross.
and it was disgusting.
Starbucks coffee is so gross.
It was
I do not.
awful.
I've never liked Starbucks
It was
ever.
awful.
Yeah. I mean, I like 7-Eleven coffee, but that's just
Yeah,
me.
7-Eleven coffee is good.
It's great. Okay, so then you got you're here now. Like you said, access to more like fitness type places. So what was it about? Because I mean, I just knowing you now versus knowing you just 4 years ago when we met, it's like there's a lot of different things that you do now for health and fitness, and you don't necessarily have access to those things in Oklahoma. So like, what are the kind of things that you started to like to or enjoy doing here that you can't do there?
Oh, I started working at a fitness studio
Uh-huh.
in Beverly Hills called
Uh-huh.
Physique 57. And I remember before I got the job, they have everybody who's interested in working, like, just take a class, like,
Right.
see what it's like.
Uh-huh.
And I loved it.
I
It
remember.
was like, I was just on cloud nine. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I was so addicted. And then I eventually got the job. And so it's Physique 57 is like a bar type workout.
BARRE.
Yes,
Not
like
bar.
a ballet bar.
Yeah.
And it's a tough. It's a hard workout,
It
but
is.
it's a different hard workout. Like you're not
Correct.
like sweating and like
I mean, sometimes
getting
I
like
bet some people do.
out of breath.
Yeah, it's a different type of workout
Um,
for sure.
But it like burns and it hurts, but it hurts so good.
Hmm.
So that's something I definitely became obsessed with. And then with you going to the gym and showing me like how to like weightlift and stuff like that, I
Uh-huh.
really enjoyed weightlifting.
Now, can we talk about this because this is when we went to the gym together, because the gym time is like my time, but like I don't mind sharing it with especially if I'm dating somebody or whatever. But one of the things that bothers me is when I see guys and girls at the gym, and the guy obviously probably knows more or thinks he knows more than the girl does, and he's putting her through his workout. And it's like, no, dude, the girl needs to work out in a different way. So when you and I went to the gym, would we do that?
Work out in a different way.
Or what would we do? Like, was I putting you through my workouts? Or was I
No.
like, here, I'm doing this and you do this while I do this?
Yeah.
And then when you're done with that, come back and tell me
Yeah.
when you're done and I'll give you
Yeah, I
some.
remember I used to think the things that you had me do were like so easy.
I'm going to hit you right now in front of everybody.
I'm like, I don't want to do this. It's so easy. And then like the next day I'd be like really sore and
Exactly.
be like, oh, it was easy.
Exactly. Yeah, I remember that too. I was pissed. I was like, shut up, dude. Wait till tomorrow. Because I was showing you like a lot of functional training.
Yeah, balancing.
A lot of balance and stability stuff, like functional training. If you guys know functional training, the easiest way I can describe it is having you do things that are not only going to improve like your fitness as far as like in the gym, but also things that are improve like your daily life too, like things like walking, climbing upstairs, like all those things are things that we
Posture.
do, yeah, like every day. Because anybody can go to like, let's say, a CrossFit gym and do cleans and pull-ups and whatever, but it's like, is that really relevant to what you're going to do on a daily basis? Probably not. But like reaching over, twisting, bending over, standing on one foot or stuff like that, like those are things that are going to benefit your overall, health and fitness because you're utilizing a bunch of different muscles and like I said, you're closing doors, you're opening doors, you're picking boxes up, you're reaching up and getting plates out. Like those are all things that are functional, and a lot of training modalities don't necessarily help you improve those things. So, right?
Right.
And you felt a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you liked it.
I don't know if I liked it, but
Yeah, you liked it.
it's just like I want that mentality, like I want to lift heavy stuff, and because you feel like that's when you're getting the most in, but a lot of times
Not necessarily.
Yeah, not necessarily.
It just depends
So-
on what your goals are, and
Yeah.
But you also started using, like, I hate to even give them any recognition on here, but like you started using ClassPass.
Yeah, you got me class
I
pass
did.
because I wanted to do boxing. I was like, I think I want to do
Well,
boxing.
I think you just wanted to try different things also.
Yeah, because I was kind of getting to a little bit bored
Of course.
in the gym.
Yeah.
So I was like wanting to kind of do boxing and a few other things, like yoga. I wanted to try yoga.
Right.
And then you got me ClassPass.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What a good gift.
It was a very good gift. The gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah. But so in that you found, because like, like for those of you, I don't know where you guys are listening, but like in LA, for example, there's, like we talked about already, there's so many different types of workouts that you can do that.
In fitness studios.
Yeah, so many
and
different fitness
gyms.
studios, so many just different things. I mean, even just the weather, there's a lot of outdoor things you can do here too. So it doesn't have to be necessarily in a gym, but I was talking about it with Cynthia last week. It's just find something that you like to do. So for you, you found Physique 57 and you like to do that. And then you found boxing and you like to do, and I hadn't even been boxing until you went and told me how much you liked it. And I was like, really? And like, you really liked it. Like the first time you went
Yeah.
to Prevail, right?
Yeah, I went to
It's the
Prevail,
third
and then
time. I've mentioned Prevail 3 times on this podcast in different episodes.
Yeah, I liked it so much that I got the
You bought a membership or like
I bought the new
pass,
client 1 month
right?
unlimited,
Which is a great deal.
and then I bought like a 40 class package.
Yeah,
because I loved it.
yeah. And then I went because you loved it, and then I loved it,
Yeah.
and I found another thing that I enjoyed doing. And
Even though you're not very good at it, but
I'm pretty good, dude. I'm pretty good. Like I've gotten a lot better. I sucked at first though, but that was why I liked it at first, was because it was just so different. Like like I'm an athlete. I played baseball forever, and I was a dancer, so like I'm very athletic. And it was cool for me to experience something that I could feel myself working out. I could feel myself being pushed, but also like I was having difficulty like with combos and stuff like that, and I was just like, oh man, like I don't know what it was, because there is something very therapeutic about punching a punching bag.
Yeah.
Like it feels so good, or like when you're hitting the mitts, and it makes that sound, or you're just like,
it reminds me of how like a lot of times like when I'd be stressed or upset about something, and I would go to the gym
right,
and just play basketball and just shoot and just get out of like get out of my head a little bit. But because I don't do that anymore, it's kind of that's how what Prevail has done for me.
Yeah.
Boxing and
totally.
stuff. Stress reliever.
Yeah, it's for sure a stress relief. I mean, think about it. You drive with me a lot. And
Let's not talk about
you
that.
guys, no, we'll talk about it because it's important. Like I get really pissed off when I drive because people can't drive here. People are horrible drivers
I
here.
agree.
And I'm always avoiding accidents.
Hmm.
And I avoid them because I'm a very defensive driver, and you make fun of me because, if we're driving, I only go the speed limit or whatever because I'm like, well, yeah, because I'm Mexican and I'll get pulled over, so I go the speed limit. But also just like people just piss me off, and I get so angry in the car. And I'm someone that I've talked about on this show before, but like I have depression issues and stuff. So for me, boxing is definitely a way to to get rid of some stress, to get rid of some built up angst. There's just something very therapeutic about just punching something.
Hmm.
It really is.
Hmm.
And they do a great job there. Shout out to Prevail again on my podcast. But you also discovered, like, did I get you into yoga? I feel like I did.
Yeah, you actually did. Now I'm thinking about it because in Sherman Oaks, you had went and did the free week
That's right, at Hot 8.
At Hot 8, and you're like, oh, I think you might like this. You should try it. And
Right.
so I did the free week, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And then I bought a membership.
That was your first hot yoga class, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was my first hot yoga class, and I really liked
And
it.
I talked about this when I had Ari on a couple
Mhm.
weeks ago. We talked about this on the yoga episode. Go back, episode 5, I believe, on this podcast, or 6, episode 6. But I had went to my first hot yoga class, and it happened to be her, and then she got me liking it, so I started going. But then they opened a studio very close to where we lived in Sherman Oaks, so they gave you a free week. So I went, and then she went, and then she got a membership to Hot 8,
Mhm.
and you found that you liked doing hot yoga.
Oh yeah, I loved it. It's just like because if I'm gonna sweat, I just might as well just sweat a lot.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to just sweat like a little bit.
You
Like,
definitely
I just
sweat a
wanna
lot in hot
sweat
yoga.
a lot, and I do. You do. You sweat, and it's weird because like in that one where you do the 26 and 2 postures, it's like 90 minutes long, like
Too long.
105 degrees. It's
Too
like
hot.
the humidity at like 100%.
Too hot and too long.
Like you're like doing cardio, but you're not really moving. You're like
Oh, yeah.
you're like holding a position, but your heart is like beating so fast because you are like doing some kind of I don't know yoga terms. I don't
Yeah.
know.
We
the
learned quite a
ins and
few
outs
on
and
that
why,
podcast, on the
but
yoga podcast.
yeah, so it was like a real, and like I would remember coming out of the posture and I would be like so out of breath, like just
Yeah.
and I was like, what?
And
And
some of,
so-
I mean, some of it too is just the fact that you're doing different things.
Mhm.
Like you're doing a type of workout that's foreign to your body,
Yeah.
and you're not in your comfort zone because we
Yeah.
already talked about that. Like you're getting out of your comfort zone. You're holding a position, a posture that's probably uncomfortable. Some of these like you could actually still do you can do some things that I still can't do
Mhm.
doing yoga. Like what's it called when you hold yourself when you put your hand out and
I don't know what that's called.
I don't know what it's called either, but you can do it and I can't. And I'm strong, but I just can't figure it out.
Yeah.
But it's just what would people in Oklahoma think about you doing hot yoga?
They would be like, well, why don't you just go outside in the heat and do
In
some
the humidity.
yoga?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's not the same.
I want to hear
but
you explaining hot yoga to your grandfather.
to my papa.
Yeah. To your papa. What, sis? What'd you do there, sis? You hot? So you go inside and it's 105?
And
That ain't.
and you do your exercises? That don't sound fun at all.
I can picture him doing that.
He does his exercises.
What does he do?
He puts the kitchen table chair like out in the living room.
He does
and
bench squats.
he sits down on it and stands
Yeah,
up like 10
box,
times.
box squats.
And then he does something.
That's a really good exercise for older people.
Yeah. And then he does something with like a band that he's supposed to he lies on his back, puts his foot in the air and like stretches his leg up with the band on top.
Did he learn that from a physical therapist? He must have, huh?
Yeah, he got he had a little minor stroke one time.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was really funny. I got to tell this
It's not funny having a stroke. It's not funny at all.
No, but we were all there at the hospital when they took him in.
Uh-huh.
And so he was like sitting there on the hospital, and the nurse is like, having him do these exercises, and he's like in his hospital gown, and she's at the end of the table, and she's like, "Can you raise your leg up?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I can do that." And he raised it all the way up, and she's like, "Okay, please put it down." He was just flashing everybody, and then he was like, he said something like, "Well, if you ain't ever seen it before, I'm sure it's not your first time," or something like that.
Your grandpa's a fun character. Okay, so let's get into this because I feel like it's important with you on.
We could do a part 2.
We could, but you're going to be gone
Yeah.
in a few
Okay.
weeks. So you go home every summer to work on the watermelon farm,
I do.
which is a completely different thing that I'm used to, you're used to, because that's your life. But talk about just how grueling that is, because you do a lot of physical labor.
Like you mentioned earlier, the athlete personality,
Yeah.
that definitely comes into play working in the watermelons. It's just a different mindset altogether. Like you have to be like super like self-disciplined, and because I mean you're just out there in the heat, like 100-degree weather.
How hot does it get in Oklahoma in the summertime?
I mean, it could get 95 to 110.
But then the humidity is
But
like
the humidity,
100%.
the humidity is way up there.
It's stupid.
So it's hot, and
And there's bugs,
it's not like you're just outside in the heat. I mean, you're literally in the dirt,
literally
and
in
you're
the dirt.
sweating, and you're tossing
And
watermelons.
it's not like dirt. It's like almost like
It's
sand dirt, like
and
some
so
type of
when
sand.
you're tossing watermelons, and the wind's blowing the sand
Let's talk
on
about this
you.
because this is physical activity. So remember when we went, so if you listen to this podcast, you know, like whenever I go to a city, like I have to find the closest gym. And the first time I went to work on the watermelon
Oh
farm.
my gosh! No, the first time you came to Oklahoma.
Well, I'm not even talking about that part. I'm talking about
Yeah.
the actual working on the
Oh,
fields.
the work in the fields.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I told you were going to get a workout.
Yeah,
in.
I'm like, no, I got to find a gym. And the closest gym is like 20 minutes away from,
further. Yeah,
yeah,
further than that.
it's like Chickasha, right? I
well,
think.
now they have one in Marlow, so but I
Right.
don't think they had one then. So.
Yeah, they didn't because I Googled it and it was
Yeah.
like there's no gym. So
Yeah.
you're like, you're going to get a workout.
Yeah, you
These
will need no
watermelons are
gym.
heavy. So like the watermelons, how much would you say the watermelons weigh? It
Average,
varies.
Yeah, depending on the variety, but average 30, 35.
That's average.
Yeah.
But there's some watermelons that are like 50, 60 pounds that
yeah,
we're lifting.
for sure.
So we're
60,
lifting watermelons all day long
Yes.
for like
probably at least
10 hours?
1,000. Yeah.
10 hours a day, at least.
I mean, yeah, 8 to 10. I mean, you're lifting watermelons probably 6 to 10 hours.
That's
6 to
That's still a lot,
anywhere.
dude.
Yeah, I mean, it is a lot. It is. So, I mean,
And then you're walking acres and acres.
yeah, like I got a Fitbit, and
Uh-huh.
so last year was the first year that I could actually track it, and I probably walk anywhere from 10 miles on a slow day
Uh-huh.
to 15 miles.
That's crazy. Along with like picking up the watermelons and whatnot.
Yes.
And your job is a little bit different than like everybody else's because
Mm-hmm.
you have the task of,
I cut all the ripe watermelons. So I walk twice as much as everybody else
Right.
because the crew that loads them can do 2 rows at a time, but I can only cut 1 row at a
Yeah.
time.
so it's a lot of standing up, sitting down, squatting
Oh,
down, up,
yes.
down.
Yes.
And you end up, you're in good shape, but every time you go home from the
every
summer,
time I go home,
you come back a little bit lighter.
yes, I come back like ripped and tan and
Hashtag farm life.
and
Yeah, very tan.
5 to 10 pounds smaller, but like
Yeah.
ripped.
Yeah, and but also it's a different type of exercise, but it's a lot of physical work.
But and you're working, like I said, I am working out there, 10, 12 hours a day, so I'm not eating a lot.
Right, and that's there.
So
Yeah,
I
there's
don't consume a lot of food.
That. Right,
So if I'm burning 3,000 calories a day, I'm probably eating 2,000.
right. But you're
So-
eating like breakfast, lunch, dinner,
Uh-huh,
but like
and-
healthy breakfast,
Yeah, and
healthy
I bring
breakfast.
snacks to the
Which-
field.
But that's actually so we can talk about that a little bit. Not everybody does that.
No.
Like there's people that do similar work to you, but they're not eating healthy throughout the day. They're eating crap,
Yeah, but they don't usually eat throughout the day either, like I do.
but they're eating crap. Is what I'm saying.
Probably, yeah. Like when we go to, yeah, probably. I don't really know.
Like I mean, like I've been there on the farm with you guys, and then we'll go to lunch at like lunch break,
Yeah.
and then
they usually eat
everyone's
burgers.
eating burgers and fries, and I'm getting
Which
like a
is
salad.
fine,
It's
like,
fine, but like
as much as you're burning, yeah, that's fine, but you
Kind
can't
of.
eat like that. You can't eat like that every day.
exactly, but they do.
But then they probably also eat like that when they go home.
That's my point. Is like, even though because you have that mindset that okay, I'm still going to eat well. Not everybody has that mindset that works in that area. So it's just it goes back to you being an athlete and having that mentality. Like,
But it's not like I'm like depriving myself
of
of it.
course,
I've like trained myself to where I don't even want that.
yeah,
Like it's hot outside. I don't want like hot food when it's like hot outside.
uh-huh,
So I mean,
I get
I'm
that.
not depriving myself. I'm like a salad is amazing to me.
Yeah.
I love it
What
with chicken or protein on
what's
it.
going to happen this year when that restaurant's not there anymore?
There it is there, and
Oh.
they still have the. I had it when I went home last time. They had the grilled chicken salad. It's a little bit different.
Uh-oh.
They don't give you as much
Well,
chicken.
I'm not looking forward to this at all.
Yeah, they don't, and they didn't give me hard boiled eggs either. I don't know
What?
if that was like a new thing or what.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, if you had to choose between, living the LA lifestyle
hmm
or living the Oklahoma lifestyle,
Mhm.
what would you choose?
Oklahoma.
Okay.
Just now that I've had experienced LA, like there's pros and cons to both of it,
Of course.
and I would want to find like a happy medium back in Oklahoma somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Just because I'm very passionate about the watermelons,
Uh-huh.
and I would like to do something with it. I would like to go, make it more of like a year-round business of some sort, and or just really take it further than where it's at now.
Yeah,
It
and
has the potential.
I think you will. But what I still think is funny is even still, you grew up on a watermelon farm, and you guys deal with thousands of watermelons every day,
Mhm.
and you've never filled a watermelon up with alcohol.
No, I haven't.
ever.
I know.
Like ever.
No, I mean,
You didn't even know that was a thing until I told you about
my
it.
family's very conservative, so
Right.
it never even crossed my mind.
Yeah, that's true.
Until you told me about it. I'm like, no.
It's interesting, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Because like a lot of people do that.
No.
I mean, I don't drink, but like I just think it's weird that you've never done that,
Yeah.
even like in college or something.
No. I wasn't a big drinker. I mean, I'm still not a big drinker, honestly. I like to have wine every now and then, but
Yeah.
I'm not a big drinker.
Okay. So, what would you give if you could inspire the people of Oklahoma that are listening to this to live healthier lifestyles? What would be your advice to them?
I mean, first I would, my first thing is like, are you happy with where you're at? And if you're happy with where you're at, just keep doing you. But if you're not, if there's something that you want to change, then yeah, I think you do have to make a change in like your eating, and not necessarily. I think a lot of it is with how you eat. Like a lot of people are
sure.
still burning the calories, like especially if you're working on the farm
Like your dad.
or they're like doing workouts. But like you can't like reward yourself with a cheat meal every time you work out.
Correct.
Like it's a lifestyle. Like you have to like start somewhere. And I always say start small. Like cut out one thing
Like what?
and do that for a month. Like maybe cut out sugar.
You-
Cut out sugar for a whole month and see, because they say it takes like what 28 days to cut a habit.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so just start small, and then I mean it's not gonna be overnight. Like obviously you didn't get to where you are overnight,
Correct.
so you have to like trust the process, and you can't give up 3 weeks in,
No.
So
I just posted something today, but a lot of people they feel like they failed in their diet or whatever it might be, right? But it's really, you don't fail until you completely give up. Like you can constantly continue to try to work towards whatever that goal
yeah,
is.
like don't beat yourself down because you had like a bad meal or a bad day or 2 bad days. Like just pick up and get
What about
back on.
exercise? What kind of because obviously it's not popular in your parts.
No, but there's so much access now. Like if you have the internet, which almost I would feel like everybody does. I mean, we
Yeah.
have it in our neck of the woods.
Correct.
I mean, there's like Beachbody and all these things that you can get like online.
Like online streaming.
I mean,
yeah.
even doing body weight exercises is better than not doing anything at all.
Correct.
Like squats in your living room, jumping jacks.
I made that video when we went to the farm,
Yeah.
flipping tires.
And you're doing pull-ups with the cows. In
Yeah,
the lot.
dude, and
like,
doing dips with the cows.
there's
Like,
so much that
you
you
could
could
do stuff.
at,
Yeah,
just at your house.
you
Like,
don't need you don't need access to a gym.
You
that's
don't.
but you do have to make it just a priority.
Like if you
in
don't know where to start, like subscribe to like some
anything.
just
Yeah.
Google it. It's like maybe
Home
$10
workouts.
$5-10 a month.
Google
and
home workouts with no equipment.
Yeah.
You find
super
endless
easy.
things.
Yeah.
And it might take a half hour every day or an hour 3 or 4 times a week, but You put those together with a week, 2 weeks, pretty soon it's a month,
Mhm.
and now you're subconsciously eating better, and then next thing you know, you've lost 50
The
pounds
biggest
because
thing is like getting started and then
yeah,
finding, staying committed. And it's, even if it's 15, 20, 30 minutes out of your day, like, it's just find that time and, you know,
I like it.
so.
Where can people find you on the internet or on social media?
I'm not very big on posting a lot. I kind of am not the biggest poster on
I
Instagram.
feel like you actually post more when you go home,
I do.
which is weird.
My Instagram handle is Ashton Pittman. That's my name. ASHTONPITTMAN
Uh-huh.
at Ashton Pittman.
That's on Instagram.
Instagram,
And Twitter, you are.
I'm at Ashton underscore
I don't-
Pittman.
Are you sure? I think.
I mean,
I don't know. Actually,
I like barely like.
you only use Twitter when you're talking about me in a negative way.
No,
When we get into a
that's
fight,
not right.
And
I
you
mean,
tweet like
a
some
little
omi-
bit,
some
a little
ominous
bit,
shit.
but sometimes like I just tweet good things.
Or like when you're retweeting about like a tornado watch or something.
Yeah. So I mean, really, you don't need to follow me on Twitter.
No.
Just on Instagram.
But yeah, because I do feel like, and we were talking about this, I feel like this summer you should probably do a blog about the farm.
Yeah, and if you are in Oklahoma in August, the Watermelon Festival is the second Saturday of August.
I'm going to be there.
Every year, the
I'm gonna
second
be there this year.
Saturday. Pittman Watermelons. I have like a little website that's free, so.
It's a big deal there.
Oh yeah,
Thousands of people come to this town
Pittman
every
Watermelons
summer.
on Facebook. Pittman Watermelons
Oh, really?
on Facebook.
You guys
yeah.
have a Facebook?
I have a Facebook page, but I only I'll start putting last year's pictures up when I go home.
But the town like stops during Watermelon Festival.
Yeah,
It's like a big
there's like
deal.
40, 50, 60, 70,000 people that come into town.
It's just crazy
Yeah.
in that little town.
It's like, I mean, it's like you think the 405 is bad at rush hour. Wait till
Yeah.
you get to Rush Springs at Watermelon Festival Day.
I can't wait. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be working the comedy club in Oklahoma City that week, but I'm going to be experiencing the Watermelon Festival for the
We
first time.
should see if when you're in town, setting something up in town.
What do you mean?
Like setting something up for.
Like a show?
Yeah.
You think that the people of Rush Springs? Actually, that's not true. Everyone loves my comedy, but
I mean, I think enough people would come.
yeah, for sure.
I've
Let's
had-
do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay, so anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Do me a favor, if you listen to this podcast, like it, or not like it, but like rate it on iTunes. Leave
Comment,
comments if
good
you like it.
comments.
Yeah, or bad. Honestly, any comments is good, but like leave comments. Subscribe to it if you like it. I'm gonna keep bringing different people from the industry and whatnot.
Does it cost to subscribe?
No, it's just
Okay.
like basically when you subscribe to it, every time the new episode drops, you'll just get a notification on your phone that it drops. But it gains popularity the more people rate it and review it and stuff, so it helps. And you can listen to it everywhere: Spotify, iTunes, etc. It's everywhere. So
Cool.
cool. Thanks for coming in today, buddy.
You're
my best friend.
welcome.
And thanks for listening, guys. The camera adds 10 pounds. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.